Welcome to our podcast. My name is Sharon Kavhu and I will be with you. And we are having our special guest, Dr. Jane, our Executive Director for SASSCAL. And today we're going to be talking about the WeMAST project, which is also one of the projects that SASSCAL is doing. And welcome, Dr. Jane, to this podcast.
Thank you.
Dr. Jane, can you introduce yourself to our audience as we go?
My name is Jane Allward. I'm the Executive Director for SASSCAL, and SASSCAL is the Southern African Science Service Center for Climate Change and Adaptive Land Management. Our headquarters is here in Windhoek, Namibia, but we also have local office in the 5 countries where SASSCAL is, that is in Angola, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Zambia.
Wow, that is great. The whole of SADC, member states, majority of them. So, can you also tell us more? We hear that you're hosting an event next week. Can you tell us about when this event is going to be held, what it is about?
So, next week we are hosting what we call a technical workshop, and we are joining together our collaborators from those countries I mentioned, but also another partner is from Zimbabwe. And this workshop is really important because we are discussing the progress that we have made in the project WeMAST. And this project is really important for us because it is funded by the African Union. And it is looking at one of the most important ecosystems, the wetlands.
Wow, this is great. This is big. We are all looking forward to it. So how many days is this workshop going to be, and where exactly is it going to be hosted?
So the workshop will just take place over 2 days, and it will be in Windhoek.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Who is SASSCAL as a consortium of the GMES and Africa Programme? Can you tell us a little bit on that project?
Okay, so SASSCAL is the head of the consortium, and our project, as we mentioned, is WeMAST. And because of the nature of the project that we are working on, transboundary basins, so we have about 7 partners that are coming. But of course, as the consortium head, SASSCAL, we are responsible for the monitoring of the project progress. We are responsible for reporting to the African Union. We are also reporting for doing outreach, marketing, and communication, and really making sure that the value of this project is understood by the stakeholder. And as you understand, it's funded by the African Union, but also in their long-term collaboration with the European Union. So we take this project really very important, and we have to make sure that we derive all the benefits we have, not only on the science side, but also on the stakeholder engagement, on the communication, and also delivering the information or products that are needed by the communities. You can imagine the basins which are transboundary, they actually cut across 7 countries.
Wow.
Not only the 4 countries of SASSCAL, or 5, but also in Zimbabwe and in Mozambique.
Wow.
So whatever we develop, we know that if it has to be useful, it must be understood by the communities, and it must be useful to them. So we really look after all those aspects that I mentioned to make sure that the funders also see that we have done the project in the best way possible.
Okay. Sorry to take you back a little bit. How long has this project been ongoing? When did it start?
So we started with phase 1. Phase 1 of the WeMAST started in 2018. And we did that one for about 3 to 4 years. And then we started phase 2. We signed the contract in 2022. We signed in 2023. And now we are almost into the second year. And it is also for 3 years. So you can say that we are halfway the mark.
Wow.
And that's why we must fast track the deliverables to make sure that we are able to finish the contract.
Wow. So, wow. That is great. That is great. It's very interesting to know that it's spreading across all the Southern Africa. Most people have a notion that because the partners, the member states that are there, they are the only ones benefiting. But it is good to know that everybody else is benefiting from this project, which is a great thing. So maybe if you can also tell us a bit more about give us an overview of the WeMAST geoportal.
So our project, first of all, is WeMAST, which is wetland monitoring and assessment platform for transboundary basins in Southern Africa. So the platform we have chosen is to produce a geoportal. A geoportal is really a tool that, first of all, is a vibrant and online tool that has put together a lot of data sets. You can imagine, for us to be able to understand the state of the wetlands, what is happening in the wetlands in terms of land use and land cover change, what about the water, what about the precipitation, what about the soil. So we need a lot of data sets which we have put in, but also for us to be able to produce credible results. We must at least have data spanning maybe 15 or 20 years. So now we have 20 years of data.
Wow.
So when we analyze 20 years of data, for example, for land use and land cover, then you are confidently able to show this is the trend. And the same thing happens to the water quantity and quality. And literally, this portal is a very interesting, but also the best way to display in maps and in graphs and also in data. And it's also very interesting because when it's done, we are also going to do what we call citizen science, where our stakeholders can go into the portal and download their data. And especially when it comes to water quality. We need people in the communities that are actually using the water. So we are aiming at the end of this project to really have a service which has been contributed to by the communities.
Wow.
So we are very happy already by the progress, but at the end of the day, we need more to be more useful, to be more interactive for communities to say, hey, I have contributed to this. And that's why, of course, we are already planning to do stakeholder or user needs, where we will present the data, the data and the portal, and the communities will tell us, I like it, I want to use it, or I am already using it. And it's only when the communities are using it, then we're going to say, wow, our project has actually worked.
Wow, interesting.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is quite a movement, and considering that the people in the communities, most of them, with the layman language, when it comes to wetlands, they might not understand what is the technical implications of their activities, what is the technical implications of what they are having, why is it important to do wetlands management and assessment. So as SASSCAL, what have you done to raise awareness so that the community also is aware of what is happening in their community?
Yes, so first of all, like to many people who don't live in wetlands, they actually think wetlands are these very dirty places full of mosquitoes and flies, but actually wetlands are one of the most important ecosystems. And studies have shown that wetlands are actually more productive than rainforests. So for the people who live there, and that's why they're attractive to communities, you can imagine it's this area that has water and land in the same place. And with the situation of water in Southern Africa, that's why many communities are living there. However, we also have to keep on promoting the importance of wetlands. We know their livelihoods, we know people are using water, but there are also other important value of wetlands, which include like flood reduction. But recently, wetlands have also been known to be one of the best carbon sinks when we talk about climate change.
Okay.
But even more interesting is that under climatic change conditions where it is really very hot, wetlands have been found to emit methane. Methane is one of the most important greenhouse gas. And therefore, restoring the wetlands goes beyond the livelihoods. It is not only a national issue, but also it is a global matter. So for SASSCAL, we talk about this in workshops. We have some information that we have in flyers, and now we have the portal that will actually show all these things in one space. Remember, sometimes it's very difficult for us to translate everything we do in different languages.
Yes.
But a map, a figure will tell people.
Universal language.
Exactly,
Yes.
and that's why we have opted for the geoportal, because you don't have to know the language, you just have to see the figure. And really, this is why we are emphasizing that we need to promote the portal in different communities and also hear from them. As I said, they are living there. They can even tell us themselves how they see the wetland changing, especially things that we cannot measure quickly, like the water levels. When we go once, fine, but in many cases they have known. They have known. I would like to know now, because of the droughts caused by the El Nino condition, on what is really happening in the wetlands. And that real-time information is got from the community. So we have done a lot, but we need to do more.
Wow, this is interesting, quite profound. I'm also learning myself.
Oh, of course, we all learn all the time.
Yes. Now as we are concluding, maybe you can give us a conclusion on the event that is upcoming, what to expect as we round up our discussion.
So for the event that is happening next week, from me, of course, I'm hoping that we are going to see great progress. And I'm also hoping that we are going to see new thinking around the wetlands, because we are dealing with people who are researchers, professors. They have students that have really gone into the details of the wetlands, and I hope they will surprise us. But in conclusion, I would also like to say that a project like this happens because of the international collaboration. Because without the collaboration between the African Union and the European Union, it would have been very difficult for us to do this project. One, because of the funding, of course, but also because the European Union has availed all the satellite Earth observation data for us to use. So that is really significant, and it can only happen through international collaboration. And of course for SASSCAL this is important, because we are also a product of collaboration between SADC and the German government, particularly the BMBF.
Wow, this is interesting. Well, dear audience, you are hearing for yourselves how essential this issue is, and tuned in, we'll be updating you on what is going to happen on the event, and in our next episode we'll also be doing key takeaway from the event so that we can also learn from these projects. Thank you very much, Dr. Jane, for taking your time in this discussion.
Thank you so much to you and the listeners.